Hey there. All right, well, let's get cranking here. I'm really excited about this lesson. I think this is going to be a very, very useful bit of information for you. First and foremost, like I said in the introduction, I'm taking for granted that you have a basic understanding of chords. So when I talk about a C chord, a C major chord, you already know that it's this, or something like it. It's C, E, and G, okay? Second thing I'm going to kind of take for granted in this one is that you have watched or at least own the Become Your Own Rhythm section for Ballads CD. You don't have to have it to gain something from this, but I'm going to talk a lot about how to apply the techniques from that DVD, or from that video rather, with these ballad chords. Because in that particular video we did a lot of talking about just basic. We based it all on basic chords. So if I taught a technique to go like this, it's still nice, but it's just basic chords. Okay? So what I'm going to do with this is, after I teach you a special chord like an added ninth or something, I'm going to teach you how to do that same technique using that added ninth chord. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about, since I've brought it up 2 or 3 times now, is the added ninth. Okay? What is the added ninth? Well, it is written like this. Okay? You might also see it written as a 2. So it might say C2. Now there's going to be a lot of debate by a lot of people. Sometimes when you see kind of a rule of thumb you can use for the most part is that if it's a high number, like above 8, since there's 8 notes in an octave, you know, 8 notes in that scale. If you see 9 or 11 or 13 or something like that, then what it's usually implying is you're supposed to play all parts of the chord, including up to that. So let's say that you see 9. Normally what that means is you play the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 9, which obviously becomes difficult with one hand. But when you see added 9, all it means is that you're taking the note that would be the 9th, and you're adding it into the basic triad, and you don't have to play the 7th with it. The same would be true if you see an 11th. Now, conversely, if you see a low number like a 2, a lot of times what they're saying is only play the root and the number, the note that represents the number that you see, like that. Now, personally, I think that's all a bunch of bunk. You can use your own judgment on that. Most of the time when you see somebody, the intention that they have when they say added ninth or a 2 is the same thing. Okay, so what they're looking for is a major triad, which is like C, E, and G, and a C bass. And then they want you to find the 9th or the 2, because they're basically the same note, and add it in like this. Here's so a D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your 9th is a D. So I play it here usually. Here's your major triad. Here's your added 9th. Very, very, very popular chord in ballads, and it has a very kind of soft, floaty, almost angelic sound to it. So just take a minute and listen to me play it, but then also play it on your own, and take it, just listen to that against, and go back and forth between that and a regular major chord, and just hear the difference. See, there's your major chord. Now here's the added 9th chord. See? there's so many ballads I can think of right off the top of my head where that added ninth is right out there. You know, anyone ever see The Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond in it back in the early 80s, you know? Hello again, hello. Just called to say hello. I think about you every day. And I'm here alone, I'm by the phone, hello. You know, I mean, there's just like oodles of examples. So, very important chord. It's your basic major triad, 1, 3, and 5, and then the ninth added in without playing any extra notes, like that. Now, you can voice this any way you want. If you take a look at it, you can do it like this, which is where I often do, but you can play it here. You can play it like this. Okay? You can play it like this if you want. Now, I would say it depends on what your situation is. What are you trying to do with the song? This is a very specific voicing. It's very strange because people's ear will tend to follow the highest note in your chord. Okay? And when you put the grace note on top like that, then you have something outside of your basic triad on top. And so if you are looking for that specific sound, you know, like that song from Phantom of the Opera, you know, say, oh, dun, 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 dun. I don't know the words. I'm not really into show tunes that much, but that might be an appropriate time. But for the most part, this is a little strange. So unless the song specifically, you know, like has kind of a signature sound that uses that, then I would tend to stick with keeping one of the regular parts of the triad, either the 1, the 3, or the 5, on top, and fit the added ninth into it somewhere here, like that, or like this, or like this. So, that's just a little bit about the added ninth chord. Now let's take a look at it and see what the added ninth chord is in each key. We've looked at it in C. It ends up being C, D, E, and G in whatever inversion you want to play it in. Okay? And again, this is really important to me that you get it, that you understand. You need to look at it beyond just the notes. You need to think of it as the numbers. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Because 1, 2, 3, and 5 exists in every key, but C, D, E, and G only exist in the key of C. See what I mean? So, but if you can think of it as the root, 2, 3, and 5, there we are. So we've looked at it in C. In D flat or C sharp, here we are. Our root is a D flat, obviously. Your 2 or your added ninth ends up being an E flat because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? Your third is an F, and your 5 is an A flat. So here we are with D flat. That's where you're at. Your inversions look like this. Can also look like this. And of course, the other way you can do it is here. So in the key of D major, our root is obviously a D. Your major third is an F sharp. Your perfect fifth is an A. So here's your 1, 3, and 5. Your added ninth becomes an E. And it's always pretty easy. It's a whole step up from your tonic or your root. A whole step is 2 half steps. 1, 2. So it's always there. That's the ninth and the 2. So you end up with D, E, F sharp, and A. Here's an inversion below. Here's an inversion above. And then here's one more inversion. Okay, now in E flat. First we find our root note, which obviously is E flat. A major third above becomes a G. 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. And then a perfect fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps becomes a B flat. So we have E flat, G, and B flat. There's our major triad. And we want to go up one whole step or 2 half steps above the tonic note, which is 1, 2. There we go. It's an F. That's your added ninth. So here's your kind of root position. Here's an inversion below. I'm going to do it like this so that it's a little bit better view on the keyboard. Okay. Here's an inversion above. And here is an inversion above that. So E flat, F, G, and B flat. That's what's in that chord. In the key of E, here's our root note, which is E. Your major triad starts with a G sharp. That's your major third. Your perfect fifth is a B. And then 2 half steps above tonic becomes 1, 2, an F sharp. And there's your added ninth. Root position. Inversion below. Inversion above. Sorry, trying to make it so you can see what I'm doing. Here we go. And one more just for good measure. Okay, let's take a look at it in F. There's our root. Your major third is here, an A. Your perfect fifth is a C. And 2 half steps above your root note. And we find that G is our added ninth. Below is one inversion, looks like so. Here's an inversion above your root position. And here's one just above that. Okay, let's take a look at F sharp. Okay, so here's our root note. Major third above that is a, well, let's think about this. You can think of it as either F sharp or G flat. And this is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, literally, because there are 6 sharps and 6 flats in either one. There's 6 flats in G flat, there's 6 sharps in F sharp. So when I say there's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, it turns into a very, very annoying but true pun. So in F sharp, we have F sharp and an A sharp and a C sharp. That makes your major triad. Or you can think of it as G flat, B flat, and D flat. And really, you know, I'm not a real stickler for all the silly rules that piano teachers put out there. So if you want to think of it as F sharp, B flat, C sharp, or G flat, A sharp, D flat, or any combination of those, you go right ahead, because on the piano they're the same note. But if you want to be technical, in the key of G flat, it's G flat, B flat, D flat, and in the key of F sharp, it's F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. So I'll let you be the judge of that, but there's your major triad. And 2 half steps up from the root finds an A flat or a G sharp, and that is your added ninth. Like this. Sorry about that. Okay, here is an inversion below that. Here's an inversion above it. And one just above that. Okay, let's take a look at G. Here's our root note. Major third is a B. Perfect fifth is a D. 2 half steps above the root finds us on an A. There is our added ninth, and that gives us this chord right here. Okay? Inversion below is right here. The inversion above is right here. And the inversion above that is here. Okay, so again, we're here. We're here. We're here. And we are here. Okay, now let's look at A flat. If you're really sadistic, then you can look at it as G sharp, but if you look at it in the key of G sharp, then you're going to have to employ what are called double sharps, and I think double sharps are double stupid, and I'm not even going to talk about them. So I always like to think of it as A flat. Okay, so A flat, we have your root note. Your major third is a C. Your perfect fifth is an E flat. And your added ninth, 1, 2 half steps above your root note, is a B flat. So here is the full chord. It's not really the fingering I would use if I were you, but I am trying to make sure you can see what keys I'm pressing. Okay? An inversion above would be like, well, actually I'll do the inversion below because that's what I've been doing. It's right here. An inversion above would be here. And one more would be here. And that is A flat. Let's take a look at A natural. I know, that has absolutely no place in ballads, sorry. Alright, so here's our root note, A. Your major third is a C sharp. Your perfect fifth is an E natural. One, two half steps above your tonic is your added ninth, which is a B. And here's your chord. Below that, your inversion is here. Above that, your inversion is here. And above that, your inversion is here. On to B flat. Here's our root note. Your major third is a D. Your perfect fifth is an F. One, two half steps above your tonic is a C natural, and there is your added ninth. Okay? The inversion below looks like this. The inversion above looks like this. And the inversion above that looks like this. Okay, and the last key we're going to look at is B natural. So you find your tonic. Your major third is an E flat or a D sharp, I guess, technically. And then an F sharp or a G flat is your perfect fifth. And then one, two half steps above your tonic note is a C sharp, and that is your added ninth. Okay, your inversion below looks like so. Okay, the inversion above looks like so. And the inversion above that looks like so. Okay, so now I'm gonna just kind of phase out, and or not phase out, but I'm gonna start a new section in a minute, because what I want, for those of you who need to review what we've just done, you can watch it to your heart's content. Take a look at the chapter list, it'll lead you right to it. But for those of you who already know how to form the chords and you just want to learn some application of the chord, then you can skip over to this next section anytime you want and know exactly where it's at. So I'll see you there.